Hi guys, today's menu is vegetable stir fry with chicken. This is my own version of vegetable stir fry. The vegetables are only being half cooked to preserve the nutrients. And my vegetables for this one are broccoli, zucchini squash, mushrooms, bell peppers, Chinese cabbage, and bean sprouts. You can actually use any kind of meat for this dish. I'm using chicken thighs. So we start by chopping up the chicken into small squares. And rule of thumb, you want to cut up the meat and the vegetables about the same size or shape if possible, so they look appetizing when it is finished. We cut up the vegetables starting with the bell peppers. So if you notice, I am cutting it up in little squares. Obviously, not all the vegetables can be cut up in squares, but those that you can't, at least cut it up in the same size. Then we do the zucchini squash, also almost the same cut or size as the bell peppers. Zucchinis are the squash family, so I assume you can substitute it with any kind of squash, including the chayote squash or sayote as we call it in the Philippines, or maybe even the orange colored squash, or we call it calabaza. And then we cut up the mushrooms. There are different kinds of mushrooms, so you just choose whatever kind of mushroom you like. I like this particular one because it doesn't give that dark juice that other mushrooms like portobello gives off. Then we have the broccoli. We just remove the hard stem in the middle and cut it up just like that. And here we have the Chinese cabbage. We just cut it up. And some mung bean sprouts. We don't cut that up. We then prepare our spices. We have the onion, the garlic, and the tomatoes. These are the typical spices actually that we use in sauteing meat or vegetables. So we always have onion, garlic, and tomatoes. So here we have all the ingredients that I mentioned earlier ready for cooking. And let's not forget a teaspoon of cornstarch soaked in good water that we can add in the end. We then start by sauteing the chicken in a hot pan with little cooking oil to make sure that the chicken is cooked before we add it to the vegetables. And we add salt and pepper for flavor. And we just make sure that it is brown and cooked. But we are not actually frying the chicken, we're just sauteing it. We set it aside when it is brown. We then saute the garlic first. We stir it until it gets brown. Then followed by the onion. And you just keep stirring so you don't burn the spices. And then we add in the tomatoes. We continue stirring until it's a little soft. Then we add the broccoli and the zucchini squash because they take about almost the same time to cook. You stir them up for about a minute because they still have cooking time later. Then you add the mushroom and the bell peppers, and also followed by the mung bean sprouts. Remember that the vegetables will only be half cooked to preserve the nutrients. Then we just add the pre-cooked chicken to the mix. And that's why it was pre-cooked, to save some cooking time also. and not to jeopardize the cooking time for the vegetables. And we also add the Chinese cabbage. So we just give that a good mix. And we also add the soy sauce and a little bit more black pepper if you like. And lastly, we would add a teaspoon of cornstarch that had been pre-soaked in little water. That cornstarch gives it a nice texture. And here it is. This is a good topping for steamed rice. Bon appetit! And please hit like and subscribe for more videos. Thank you.